The fire alarm screamed through the NICU at 2:47 a.m. Sophia jolted awake in the recliner beside Marcus's isolette. The overhead lights flashed red. Nurses were running. Someone was shouting evacuation protocols. But there was no smoke, no heat, just chaos. "False alarm," a nurse yelled. "Everyone stay calm, we're checking the system." Sophia's hands were already on the isolette, already protecting her son even though he was sealed inside plastic and glass, already calculating how fast she could disconnect the monitors if she needed to. The alarm cut off 30 seconds later. "System malfunction. Building maintenance is looking into it." Sophia didn't move. Something was wrong. She could feel it in her bones, in the way her skin prickled, in the sudden certainty that this wasn't an accident. Dr. Harrison appeared in the doorway, still in yesterday's clothes, hair standing up on one side. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded, her hands were shaking. Marcus slept through it all. 3 pounds 4 ounces now, 2 days old, stronger than expected but still so fragile, still fighting for every breath. Dr. Harrison moved to the isolette, checked the monitors with practiced eyes. "I'm staying, tonight, every night." Sophia reached for her notepad, started to write that he didn't need to do that she was fine alone. But the truth was simpler and harder. She wasn't fine. Hadn't been since the acid hit. Maybe wouldn't be for a long time. So instead she wrote, "Thank you." Morning, Keisha arrived with coffee and breakfast sandwiches. "Any news on the alarm?" "Malfunction," Dr. Harrison said, but his voice was tight, the voice he used when he was lying to protect someone. Keisha caught it. "What kind of malfunction?" "The kind that doesn't make sense. Fire alarms don't just go off in hospitals with redundant safety systems." The three of them looked at each other, thinking the same thing. Victoria had made bail, was out there, free to move, free to plan, free to finish what she'd started. Dr. Harrison pulled out his phone. "I'm getting footage from last night, every entrance, every hallway. If someone was in this hospital who shouldn't have been, I'll find them." He left. Keisha sat down in his empty chair, looked at Sophia with the kind of expression that meant bad news was coming. "What?" Sophia wrote. "Victoria's lawyer filed a motion this morning, trying to get the charges reduced from attempted murder to aggravated assault. Claims there's no evidence she intended to kill you, just disfigure you." Sophia's pen pressed so hard the paper tore. "Gets worse. Damien's claiming he had no knowledge of the attack. Says Victoria acted alone. Says he was in Miami on business with no idea what she'd planned." "Liar," Sophia wrote. "I know, but his lawyers are the kind that $2 million buys." Sophia looked at her son, at the tiny human who deserved better than this, better than a father who tried to have his mother killed, better than a family tree poisoned at its roots. She picked up her pen. "I'm testifying, no matter what." Dr. Harrison returned an hour later. His face was carved from stone. Security footage shows someone in scrubs entering the building at 2:30 a.m., used a stolen badge, went straight to the mechanical room, triggered the fire alarm manually. "Did they get a face?" Keisha asked. "No, surgical mask, cap covering their hair, could have been anyone." But it wasn't anyone. It was Victoria, or someone Victoria had hired, testing the defenses, finding the weaknesses, planning the next move. "I'm pulling Marcus out of here," Dr. Harrison said. "Soon as he's stable enough to transport, we'll set up a private NICU at the house, round-the-clock nursing staff." "When will it be over?" Sophia wrote. Nobody answered. His phone rang, he listened. His face went white. When, he said then, are you sure, then, I'm on my way? He hung up. What? Keisha demanded. The DA, Victoria's bail was revoked an hour ago. She missed her check-in with her probation officer. So she's back in jail. No, Dr. Harrison's voice went hollow. She's gone. They issued a warrant, but she's in the wind. Sophia felt the floor tilt. Every worst-case scenario she'd been trying not to imagine suddenly becoming possible. Victoria was out there, unmonitored, untracked, free to do whatever she wanted. And what she wanted was Sophia dead. Move him, Sophia wrote. Tonight, whatever it takes. He's not ready, his lungs. I don't care, move him. Dr. Harrison looked at her, saw the mother underneath the scars, the fighter underneath the victim. Okay, he said, I'll make the arrangements. The transfer happened at midnight. Private ambulance, unmarked, 3 security guards. Dr. Harrison rode with Marcus, monitoring every vital sign. Sophia followed in a separate car with Keisha. They took side streets, changed routes twice, watched for tails. No one followed them. The guest house had been transformed into a miniature NICU, medical-grade equipment, backup generators, oxygen tanks, 2 nurses on 12-hour shifts, a neonatologist on call. Dr. Harrison had spent $250,000 in 72 hours. Marcus kept breathing, kept fighting. 4 pounds now, stronger every day. But still so small. Sophia barely slept, spent her nights in the chair beside his medical crib watching him, jumping at every unfamiliar sound. 3 days passed, then 4, then a week. No sign of Victoria, no mysterious alarms, no break-in attempts. The police had a bolo out, every airport, every bus station, every border crossing, but she'd vanished like smoke. On the 8th day of silence, the DA came to them. Patricia Okonkwo, 43 years old. Conviction rate that made defense attorneys nervous. She sat in Dr. Harrison's living room, Marcus sleeping in his medical crib nearby, and placed a flash drive on the coffee table. We got into Victoria's storage unit in Marietta, Patricia said. Warrant came through this morning. Cash, fake IDs, burner phones, and a laptop she didn't properly wipe. What did you find? Dr. Harrison asked. Patricia plugged the flash drive into her laptop, pulled up a video file. This was filmed 2 days before the attack. She hit play. The video showed Victoria and Damien in a hotel room. Victoria holding the camera, Damien sitting on the bed looking exhausted, defeated. Say it, Victoria ordered. I don't want to do this anymore, Damien said. Say it. A breath, Sophia Castellanos is an obstacle to our future. She needs to be removed. How? Permanently. And you approve of my plan? Yes. Say the words, Damien. I approve of your plan to kill Sophia Castellanos. The video ended. The room was silent. Then Sophia said very quietly, "That's a confession." Yes, Patricia said. That's exactly what it is. We're issuing a warrant for Damien's arrest. First-degree conspiracy to commit murder. No bail. If he's convicted, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. The arrest happened at 1:15 a.m. Cameras caught Damien being led out in handcuffs, head down, flanked by federal agents. By morning, it was everywhere. And somewhere watching the news, Victoria Ashford realized she'd lost. 3 days after Damien's arrest, at 4:47 a.m., the security system at Dr. Harrison's compound went dark. Every camera, every sensor, every alarm. Offline. And in the sudden silence, Sophia heard something that made her blood turn to ice. A baby crying. Marcus. But she was in her bedroom. Marcus was in the nursery, which meant someone else was in that room with her son. Sophia ran. She hit the nursery door at full speed. Locked from the inside. She slammed her shoulder against it, once, twice. The frame splintered but held. Marcus's crying got louder, more desperate. "Let me in," she screamed it. Her voice tore at the edges. The grafts on her face stretched. She didn't care. "Let me in or I swear to God." The door opened. Victoria stood there, calm, composed, holding Marcus against her chest like he was hers. "Or you'll what?" Victoria said. "Call security. They're busy with the fire I started in the main house. Call the police. They'll take 20 minutes minimum. By then this will all be over." Sophia's vision tunneled. The entire world contracted to three things: Victoria's face, Marcus's crying, the 6 feet of space between them. "Give him to me." "Why would I do that? He's worth so much more to me than he is to you." "He's my son. He's Damien's son, and Damien needs leverage, something to trade when they offer him a deal." She smiled. "What better than his innocent baby, the one you'll do anything to protect?" Sophia's mind raced. Help was coming, it had to be coming. But help wouldn't arrive in time. This was on her. "Damien confessed," Sophia said, kept her voice steady. "The video, the police have everything. There's no deal, he's done." "Then so are you." Victoria pulled a syringe from her pocket, held it up. The liquid inside was clear. "Insulin," Victoria said. "Massive overdose. His blood sugar will crash. He'll slip into a coma. By the time anyone realizes what happened, there'll be nothing they can do. You'll go to prison for life." "I'm already going to prison for life. Might as well make it count." Victoria moved the syringe toward Marcus's arm. Sophia lunged. She crossed those 6 feet faster than thought, faster than fear, faster than anything except a mother's instinct to protect her child. She hit Victoria low and hard. They went down together. Marcus flew out of Victoria's arms, not far, just a few feet, landing on the soft nursery rug. He kept crying. Crying meant breathing. Breathing meant alive. Sophia didn't have time to check. Victoria was on her, clawing, scratching, going for her eyes, the syringe still in her hand. They rolled, crashed into the dresser. Picture frames fell, baby clothes scattered. Victoria was stronger, younger, better fed, not recovering from acid burns and 6 surgeries. But Sophia had something Victoria didn't. Everything to lose. She got her hand around Victoria's wrist. The one holding the syringe slammed it against the floor. Once, twice, 3 times. Victoria's grip loosened. The syringe rolled away. Sophia dove for it, got her fingers around the barrel. Victoria grabbed her hair, yanked. Sophia's scalp screamed, the grafts on her face stretched, something tore. She didn't care. She swung the syringe backward, felt it connect with flesh, felt resistance, felt the plunger depress. Victoria made a sound, not a scream, more like surprise. Sophia turned. Victoria was staring at her arm, at the syringe sticking out of it, at the empty barrel. "No," Victoria whispered. "No, no, no, no." She yanked the syringe out, threw it across the room, stared at Sophia with eyes that had finally shown fear. "What did you do? What you were going to do to my son?" Victoria stumbled to her feet, grabbed the dresser for support. "I need sugar, I need." "You need to get out of my house." Dr. Harrison appeared in the doorway. Behind him, 2 security guards, behind them flashing lights, police, paramedics. She injected me, Victoria gasped, pointed at Sophia. She tried to kill me. I saw the whole thing on the backup cameras, Dr. Harrison said. His voice was ice. You broke in, threatened my grandson, attempted to inject him with a lethal dose of insulin. Ms. Castellanos defended herself and her child. You're lying. The cameras don't lie, and unlike you, I know how to maintain a backup system. Victoria's knees buckled. The insulin was hitting her bloodstream, fast-acting, high concentration, exactly the dose that would kill a 4-pound baby in minutes. But Victoria weighed 120 pounds. It wouldn't kill her, just make her wish it had. The paramedics pushed dextrose, stabilized her blood sugar. The police cuffed her to the gurney. Victoria Ashford, you're under arrest for breaking and entering, attempted kidnapping, and attempted murder. You have the right to remain silent. Victoria screamed, cursed, threatened, promised revenge. They wheeled her out anyway. Sophia stood in the ruined nursery, bleeding from a dozen small cuts, her face throbbing where the grafts had torn, hands shaking. None of it mattered. Because Marcus was crying. Crying meant breathing. Breathing meant alive. She picked him up, held him close, felt his heartbeat against hers. You're okay, she whispered. I've got you. Dr. Harrison put his hand on her shoulder, didn't say anything, didn't need to. They stood there together, father, daughter, grandson, in the wreckage of Victoria's final plan. For the first time since the acid hit, Sophia felt something that might have been peace. Not forgiveness, not yet, maybe not ever. But something close, something that felt like a door opening, a wound starting to heal. The trial was in February, cold and gray. Sophia testified for 6 hours, told her story in painful detail, showed her scars, explained the medical procedures, described the moment the acid hit. She didn't cry, didn't break, just spoke the truth in simple, devastating sentences. Victoria's lawyer tried to discredit her, called her a scorned mistress, a liar, a woman who'd attacked his client in self-defense and was now playing victim. The jury didn't buy it. The security footage was too clear, the medical evidence too stark, the confession video too damning. Victoria guilty on all counts, attempted murder, aggravated assault, kidnapping, breaking and entering. 40 years, no possibility of parole for 25. Victoria didn't react, just stared straight ahead, empty. Damien's trial was separate, faster. His own confession video sealed his fate, conspiracy to commit murder, wire fraud, insurance fraud. 35 years. He'd be 70 before he saw freedom again. Sophia watched both verdicts from the gallery. Dr. Harrison beside her. Marcus in her arms, 8 months old now, 15 pounds, healthy and strong and completely unaware of everything that had been done to bring him safely into the world. When it was over, Patricia Okonkwo turned to Sophia. How do you feel? Sophia thought about it, really thought. Tired, she said, but free. And that was true. For the first time in almost a year, she wasn't looking over her shoulder, wasn't waiting for the next attack, wasn't living inside fear. She could breathe. What's next? Patricia asked. Sophia looked at her son, at the man beside her, still learning to be her father, still earning back ground he'd lost 30 years ago, and at the door of the courthouse, bright light pushing through the glass. Next, Sophia said, we go home. Spring came early. By March, the dogwoods were blooming. The garden behind Sophia's cottage, built on the north side of Dr. Harrison's property, hers now in every way that mattered, was full of flowers she'd planted herself. Marcus took his first steps on the patio. Sophia caught it on video, sent it to Keisha, who cried, sent it to Patricia, who sent back a string of celebration emojis, almost sent it to her mother before remembering. Some absences never stopped hurting. Dr. Harrison was there for it, was there for everything, first smile, first laugh, first word. Ma, thank God, not Dada, because Damien didn't deserve even that small victory. He's fast, Dr. Harrison said, watching Marcus toddle across the patio. He gets it from my mom, Sophia said. She was always moving, never stopped. You're like her. Maybe, but I'm also like you. He looked at her, surprised. How? Stubborn, don't know when to quit, too proud to ask for help even when I need it. That's not a compliment. No, Sophia agreed, but it's true. They sat in the kind of silence that meant they didn't need to fill every moment with words. Marcus made it to the edge of the patio, grabbed the railing, looked back at Sophia with an expression of pure triumph. I saw, she called. Very clever, now come back before you fall off the edge. He didn't listen, toddlers never did. Dr. Harrison scooped him up before he could tumble down the steps. Marcus squealed, grabbed his grandfather's nose. Gentle, Dr. Harrison said, but he was smiling. The kind of smile Sophia had never seen on him in the hospital, unguarded, real, happy. It looked good on him, made the 30 years of guilt sit a little lighter on his shoulders. I have something to tell you, Sophia said. Dr. Harrison set Marcus down. What? I got a job offer, Piedmont Hospital, nursing supervisor in the burn unit. They want me to start in June. Something complicated moved across his face, pride mixed with worry. That's wonderful, you'd be amazing at that. You don't sound sure. I am sure. You're one of the strongest people I've ever met. But Sophia, working with burn patients after everything, are you sure you're ready? Sophia touched her face. The scars were fading, still visible but softer now, integrated, part of her instead of separate. I'm ready, she said, because I know what they're feeling, what they're afraid of, what they need to hear. Then you should do it, he paused. I'll watch Marcus on your work days if you trust me. If you trust me. The words landed heavy between them. Because trust wasn't something Sophia handed over without thinking. Not anymore. But Dr. Harrison had earned it, slowly, carefully, through 400 small choices that added up to something bigger. Okay, Sophia said, we'll try it. His eyes went bright. He looked away, cleared his throat. Good, that's good. August brought the first anniversary of the acid attack. Sophia woke up that morning and knew she needed to mark the day, acknowledge what had happened without letting it define her. She drove to her mother's grave, brought flowers, sat on the grass. I wish you could meet him, Sophia said. Marcus, your grandson, he has your smile. When he grins, really grins, it's like seeing you again. The stone didn't answer. Stones never did. But Sophia kept talking, told her mother about the trial, the verdicts, the new house, the job, Dr. Harrison. He's trying, Sophia said. Really trying. I know you might not forgive him. I'm not sure I completely forgive him either. But he's here now, and he loves Marcus, and maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all we get, people doing their best with the mess they've made. The wind moved through the trees. I love you, Mom, I miss you, but I'm okay, we're okay. She stood, touched the headstone one last time, walked back to her car. Dr. Harrison was waiting in the parking lot. She'd texted him where she was going. He'd shown up without asking, just stood there, present, available if she needed him. You okay? He asked. Sophia looked at her son in his car seat, at the man who'd helped her survive, at the future stretching out ahead of them. Yeah, she said, I am. Not perfectly okay. Not healed completely. Not free from every nightmare or every moment of doubt. But okay enough. 2 years after the acid attack, Sophia stood in front of 200 people and told her story one more time. Not in a courtroom, not on television. To survivors. The Harrison Foundation's annual gala was held at the Georgia Aquarium. Black tie event. Champagne and silent auctions and people who wrote six-figure checks without blinking. But the real guests of honor were the 20 women and 3 men who'd received grants that year. Legal advocacy, medical care, housing assistance, everything they needed to escape and rebuild. Sophia was the keynote speaker. She stood at the podium, Marcus, now 2.5, sitting with Dr. Harrison in the front row, and looked out at the crowd. 3 years ago, she began, someone threw acid in my face. The room went silent. She did it because I was pregnant, because I was engaged to a man she wanted, because she thought removing me would solve her problems. Sophia touched her face. The scars were barely visible now, 6 surgeries over 3 years. She was wrong, I didn't disappear, didn't give up, didn't let her win. Marcus waved from the front row. Sophia waved back. But I didn't do it alone. I had help, resources, people who believed me, a father who came back after 30 years of being gone, a legal system that actually worked, a community that supported me. Most survivors don't have that. Most survivors face their battles alone, with no money, no lawyers, no options. She looked at the 23 grant recipients. Some had visible scars, some didn't, all carried invisible ones. That's why this foundation exists, to make sure no one has to fight alone, to give people options, resources, hope. She told them about the legal advocacy program, the medical fund, the housing assistance, the therapy grants. We've helped 97 people this year, Sophia said. 97 people who might not have survived without support. 97 people who are rebuilding their lives. Marcus started to fuss. Dr. Harrison picked him up, bounced him gently, father and grandson, 2 generations learning how to be family. I'm not going to tell you that survival is easy, Sophia said. It's not. Some days you wake up and the first thing you remember is what was taken from you. She gripped the podium. But you also wake up. You also keep going. And eventually, not right away, but eventually, you realize something important. Her voice carried to every corner of the room. You realize that the worst thing that ever happened to you doesn't get to write your ending. You do. The room erupted, standing ovation, people crying, people who understood exactly what she meant. Because they'd lived it. When the gala ended, Sophia sat on a bench outside the aquarium and watched the city lights reflect off the water. Dr. Harrison joined her, Marcus asleep on his shoulder. You were amazing up there, he said. I was terrified. Didn't show. They sat in comfortable silence, father and daughter, still learning each other, still building something new from something broken. I've been thinking, Dr. Harrison said. About Marcus, his future. I want to set up a trust for his education, whatever he needs. Sophia shook her head. You don't have to. I want to. Let me give him what I didn't give you. Sophia looked at her sleeping son, at the man who'd abandoned her and saved her in equal measure, at the complicated, imperfect family they'd become. Okay, she said, thank you. Dr. Harrison's voice went rough. I know I can't undo the damage, can't be the father you should have had, but Sophia, I'm trying, every day I'm trying. I know. Is it enough? She thought about it, considered all the ways he'd failed and all the ways he'd succeeded. All the moments he'd missed and all the moments he'd shown up for. "It's enough," she said. "It's not perfect, but it's enough." He closed his eyes, like a weight had been lifted. "Thank you," he whispered. Her phone buzzed, a text from a number she didn't recognize. "My name is Jennifer. I saw your story on 60 Minutes. My boyfriend threw boiling water on me 6 months ago. I didn't think I could leave. Didn't think I could survive. But you did. So maybe I can too. Thank you for giving me hope." Sophia's throat tightened. She typed carefully. "You can, you will. And you're not alone. Call the Harrison Foundation hotline. We'll help, I promise." She hit send, sat still, let herself cry, not from sadness, from the knowledge that her pain was helping someone else survive their worst thing, that scars could become maps for other people to follow. That survival could mean more than just staying alive. It could mean showing others how to do the same. Dr. Harrison appeared in the doorway, sat down beside her. They sat there until the stars faded, until the sky turned gray with approaching dawn, until Marcus woke up calling for his mama and a new day began. A day without fear, without looking over her shoulder. Just a normal day, a boring, beautiful, ordinary, perfect day. The kind she'd fought for, survived for, built from the wreckage of everything that had tried to destroy her. In the morning, she lifted Marcus from his crib, carried him to the kitchen for breakfast, and looked out the window at the garden she'd planted. At the life she'd built from nothing but stubbornness and love and the refusal to let the worst thing win. Sophia Castellanos Harrison had survived. Not because she was lucky, not because she was saved. Because she refused to stop. And that, she thought, watching her son throw a piece of banana at his grandfather's head, watching Dr. Harrison pretend to be offended and then laugh, watching light pour through the windows of the home she'd built for herself, was enough. More than enough. It was everything.